2009 to produce and advance journalism that critically examines potential solutions to the world's major problems, what we've been calling solution journalism. So my project was to both lay out a more concrete definition of solution journalism and also to create a suite of tools to help reporters cover social change more effectively. The big problem we were ultimately tackling here is that today's news coverage is not really designed to help society self-correct. That's the purpose of the press and why many journalists entered the field in the first place. But I bet if I asked you guys to think of 5 major national or global problems, and then try to think of 5 promising solutions, it would be pretty difficult. Many people have ideas about how to remedy this, but Dowser's proposed piece of the puzzle is more balanced coverage of both problems and existing solutions. Right now, that's not happening. The overwhelming theory seems to be that problems are newsworthy, but solutions aren't. David did some number crunching in his last book, and in the last 3 decades, the New York Times has referred to the Grameen Bank, the microfinance pioneer, in 84 stories, and a third of them since the Grameen won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. But it's referred to the Tamil Tigers in 800 stories, and the Irish Republican Army in 3,600. But the Grameen Bank, which you can trace back to 1976, is one of the preeminent financial social enterprises. There are now 200 million families that are considered clients of microfinance. That's about 1 billion people whose lives have been influenced by this institution and its idea. It's basically shifted the entire field of international development in both positive and negative ways, but for whatever reason, that's not considered newsworthy. The theory here is that exposing problems will get people riled up and they'll fix things. But that's kind of like criticizing your children every day and just expecting them to become better people. Eventually they're going to tune out. And they also need lots of positive examples about how they could improve to really do better. So our answer is solution journalism, which is not advocacy or hagiography or feel-good stories. And it doesn't take any sort of social change as a self-evident good thing. It's journalism that looks for truly innovative models with promising evidence-based rates of success, and then presents those stories in powerful, critical narratives that explore the minutiae of how that strategy operates. While I was crafting this definition, we dove into behavioral and social psychology of how people change and found that there are 4 basic themes that people need to know to solve problems. What's broken, what's working, what's the goal, and how do we get there? And for our purposes, they need to be wrapped up in a powerful story. A few individual journalists and outlets occasionally produce this type of reporting. The long-form narratives that Atul Gawande writes for The New Yorker are perfect examples. But ultimately, it's pretty scattered. What we need is a more concentrated effort to increase both the quality and quantity of these stories. Should a journalist who covers a problem also have a responsibility to present a potential solution? And if they did, would this make people more interested when they cover the problems? So to help this along, I developed a toolkit to serve a variety of different users. It is up in alpha at this URL, and includes a short video explainer, a manifesto, a casebook of good examples and not so good examples, heuristics, vocabulary you need to know, starting points for professors, data journalists, and short-form web writers, and guides on both how to solutionize your problem story and how to pitch solution journalism. It also includes a source base, which we've been calling solution base. Dowser has vetted a little over 700 social enterprises that right now live on an Excel spreadsheet, but we're working to get them into an online database that you can search based on problem, solution, beat, or location. Right now we have a basic working mock-up, and you can also search that Excel spreadsheet. And when you click on one of these place markers, you'll be taken to an organization's page, which will have all the information you need to get started reporting on that organization. And you might be saying, well, this all sounds fantastic, but why should I care? People say they want good news, but when we provide it, the traffic often goes down. But we believe solution journalism has very strong market potential, and drawing that traffic doesn't need to be difficult. I did some preliminary research over the summer, and what I found was that a well-done piece of solution journalism placed in the right vertical, and that does not mean something called impact or doing good, was shared prolifically. The fixes column, which David writes for the New York Times with Tina Rosenberg, almost always made the most popular in email lists. Essentially, there's an entire untapped demographic of users that want this kind of information because it's about power. It helps them advance the goals that they've set for themselves. And the ultimate takeaway here is not that solution journalism is the answer to fixing the news system, but that right now people are craving a type of news that helps them fix society's many problems. And the press is in a really unique position to remap its sources and rethink its content. So we need to start experimenting with how to do this. So please try out our guide and give us feedback. We're using the hashtag solution journalism. And if your organization wants help or is wondering how to start producing these types of stories, please do contact us. That's half of our company's mission. Thank you to David Bornstein. This is really his baby, and without him, I wouldn't have had this project. To BYU's Peary Social Entrepreneurship Program, which gave me a lot of research and coding help. To Jonathan Stray for helping me realize there are lots of options for a news environment to help society self-correct. Thanks to Jay, Zoe, and Mitch, who connected me with Dowser in the first place, and all of my Studio 20 colleagues for the moral and technical support.